Japan, the land of the rising sun, an island nation officially founded in 660 BCE. Japan has endured as a country for over 1,000 years. It is a country rich with history, art, and religion. It's also the home of some of the strangest pop culture in the 21st century. For whatever reason, the Japanese indulge in pop culture like no other country, actively participating in it both physically and emotionally far more than even the United States. It's a country where animation is for adults, where fans can self-publish manga, artwork, and music based on pre-existing properties and have it sold for actual money, and where shit like this happens. It's only in a country like this that Hatsune Miku, the synthetic singing software turned real-life pop star, could ever become the gigantic cultural phenomenon that she did. Since her debut in 2007, she's taken the world by storm, gathered an obsessive cult-like fanbase who treat her like she's real, and had her face slapped on every product humanly possible. And people both inside and outside of the Vocaloid community just can't seem to comprehend why. Her meteoric rise to fame and popularity is something so baffling, many fans and critics can't help but scratch their heads and wonder what the big deal is. So in honor of Hatsune Miku's 9th birthday, I'm going to attempt to guide you through the insane history of Hatsune Miku in order to discover just what it is about this diva that leaves such an impact on so many people. But in order to do that, we're going to need a brief history lesson about the origins of both Vocaloid and its most famous figure. Originally a joint research project led by Kenmochi Hideki at the Pompeu Fabra University in Barcelona, Spain, Vocaloid began development under the name Daisy in 2000 in reference to Daisy Bell, the first song ever to be sung by a computer.
It would be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two.
The software is a vocal synthesizer, meant to allow musicians to create semi-lifelike vocals. Daisy was never intended for commercial release, but with some backing by the Yamaha Corporation, Daisy became Vocaloid, a portmanteau of Vocal Android, and was released publicly on January 15th, 2004. The software was marketed both to professional composers and hobbyists, with an easy-to-use score editing interface that converted lyrics into phonetic symbols. But unfortunately, Vocaloid didn't exactly make the splash Yamaha had hoped it would within its first years on the market. But over the course of 3 years, Vocaloid had become enough of a cultural phenomenon to warrant an upgrade in the form of Vocaloid 2, which prompted music software and development company Krypton Future Media to release an all-new set of Vocaloids called the Character Vocal series, with Hatsune Miku set to be the very first character to release. Hatsune Miku was an instant success upon release on August 31st, 2007, reportedly selling around 300 units a week and totaling in at around 40,000 by the end of the year. And while Krypton would continue to release characters long after Miku, like the Kagaman duo and the bilingual Mega and Luca, Hatsune Miku continued to grow in popularity, turning her from a simple piece of computer software into a legitimate cultural phenomenon. And the rest is history. Baffling, baffling history. The story of Hatsune Miku's rise to greatness is really a story about momentum and collaboration. When Krypton set out to develop their very first Vocaloid, their intention was to create both a voice and a character that would appeal to professional musicians, which is ironic since it was the amateur music scene that really propelled her to popularity. On September 4th, 2007, just 4 days after Hatsune Miku's release, an artist and composer by the name of Otomania uploaded a video to the Japanese video sharing site Nico Nico of Hatsune Miku singing the Finnish song Yevon Polka. As a send-up to the popular Loituma girl meme from the previous year, it also featured an illustration of a super deformed Hatsune Miku, named Hatsune Miku, waving a Welsh onion by an artist named Tamago. What's interesting about that video was that it showcased the possibilities of Vocaloid as a tool for both collaboration and unique multimedia content creation. As Miku's popularity grew, Nico Nico turned into a breeding ground for collaborations centering around Hatsune Miku and Vocaloid in general, as fans would use the site to share songs, animations, and anything they were working on. As a result, Vocaloid became a legitimate medium for storytelling and multimedia in the eyes of the masses, propelling it into a hugely relevant part of Japanese otaku and doujin culture. In fact, doujin music groups like Supercell and Livetune, who are signed by real-world record labels like Sony Music Group and Toys Factory respectively, made entire careers out of creating Hatsune Miku songs. But from there, things started to get a bit strange. Miku slowly made her way into the real world as Vocaloid's relevance grew to a point that was honestly kind of absurd. Vocaloid albums like Exit Tune Presents Vocalogenesis were debuting at #1 in Japan. Miku had been performing and selling out concerts since 2009 and even brought her act stateside in 2014.
Hello, New York!
She starred in her own fucking opera called The End, with outfits designed by Marc Jacobs of Louis Vuitton, and, well, actually, I've heard the opera's pretty beautiful. She's the face of the Sapporo Winter Festival. She performed a symphony with the Tokyo Philharmonic on August 26th of this year. We launched Miku into space, for fuck's sake. And it's kind of difficult to see why we heaped all of this popularity on her, even with some context. Obviously, being the first Vocaloid to inspire such collaboration gives her a leg up on the competition, and her cute appearance and voice makes her pretty endearing even without really knowing much about her. But even still, it doesn't go very far toward answering why it is that she got so big. I've even heard theories that claim her popularity is due to Shintoism, and how it promotes giving inanimate objects souls, but that's all just conjecture. The one thing we can say for sure is that, for better or for worse, Miku is the face of Vocaloid, and that means she's going to be the one with the most exposure. Especially when you have as many tie-in deals as Hatsune Miku. At this point, Miku's face is probably far more famous than her voice ever was. And that's sadly because it's pretty much been printed on everything humanly possible in an attempt to cash in on her rabid fan base. It's just the way of things. Anything that attracts fans will attract hungry corporations who are hoping to profit off of whatever it is you love most.
Introducing the new 2011 Toyota Corolla. It's the official car of Hatsune Miku.
There's no way around it. Miku is a corporate shill, used to sell shit to otakus the world over. If you've ever wanted to drive around town in your Hatsune Miku endorsed Toyota Corolla, or order Domino's pizza from a virtual idol, you can do all of those things.
Have some fun with Miku.
Hatsune Miku, being, you know, a fictional character with no say in how her image is utilized, is a dream come true for many marketing companies, especially since Krypton is pretty happy to have her image plastered on anything and everything. Plus, due to the relevance of both Vocaloid as a software and the technology surrounding it, such as the projection technology used to make her live concerts work, she's an impossible presence to escape from. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is really going to depend on who you ask. On the one hand, Miku's widespread appeal is ultimately a great gateway into Vocaloid as a whole, and the fact that a number of the songs she's featured in are like legit goddamn masterpieces means if you purely choose to enjoy Miku and not dig much further into Vocaloid, you're still gonna have a pretty good playlist of songs to listen to, but personally, I don't think anything this niche belongs on the fucking Late Show.
Our next guest is a computer-generated Vocaloid personality from Japan.
And unfortunately, her immense overexposure certainly doesn't help her reputation amongst naysayers, who don't understand how the twin-tailed songstress ever reached the heights that she did. Many fans within the Vocaloid community feel that, while Miku's appearance and voice are certainly cute, she's not the best Vocaloid ever made, especially since not everyone is gonna find her bubbly, high-pitched soprano enjoyable to listen to. Plus, since she's become a prominent figure in the West purely through osmosis, many Westerners simply can't wrap their heads around just what the hell she's all about. Western writers and critics especially seem to have the hardest time rationalizing Miku's popularity, to the point where, while doing research for this video, I noticed that an alarming amount of writers seem to fear that Miku's popularity was a sign of the end times. A sign that Vocaloid would be the future of the music industry, that holograms would someday replace the need for actual live musicians, and, well, with all the fervor surrounding her and her brand, it's hard not to see why so many people are so desperate to understand her popularity, but I can't help but feel like they're missing the point. Hatsune Miku has become something far larger than I think even her original creators expected, and it's hard to face the absurdity of it all when looking at this from the outside. It makes sense that people want so desperately to rationalize and understand this craze, especially since it doesn't show signs of disappearing anytime soon. And while I had originally set out to do just that, I've come to the conclusion that there is no concrete way to rationalize the success of Hatsune Miku. The best I can offer is that her success is owed to an interweaving network of variables, from the popularity of Vocaloid during the window of her release, to the collaborative spirit it took on, to her mass overexposure and commercialization, to her sudden relevance in the eyes of pop culture both in the East and West. But all of those things seem to miss the most valuable question of them all. Why do people care so deeply about Hatsune Miku? When writing videos, I like to try to be as objective as possible and avoid bringing myself into the conversation, but I think I'm gonna have to speak from the heart on this one. If you were to ask me, what is Hatsune Miku? There's a lot of different ways I can answer. In the strictest terms, Hatsune Miku is a piece of software released by Krypton Future Media in 2007. In a historic sense, Hatsune Miku is a cultural icon that propelled the Vocaloid brand to relevance. And in an economic sense, Hatsune Miku is a blue-haired girl whose face you can slap on a pizza box to get a man-child to buy it for you. But I think she represents something so much more than all of that. The appeal behind Vocaloid is its user-driven nature. Vocaloid isn't a set of hyper-aware holograms set on replacing human vocalists. In fact, it's the opposite. Vocaloid is an extension of its user. It's their words, from their song, and all Vocaloid does is provide them a voice with which to sing. And since Miku is effectively the face of the medium, to me that means Miku is an embodiment of all of the elements that make it wonderful. To me, Hatsune Miku is a symbol of ingenuity, collaboration, and creative freedom. She's the embodiment of 1,000 thoughts and emotions all singing in harmony, and she represents a medium where any artist can create whatever they choose, in whatever genre they choose, with whatever voice they choose, and have their words be heard by millions of people the world over. I understand why it may be difficult to fully grasp the success and appeal of Hatsune Miku, but I think just by looking at her impact, it's impossible to deny that there is something special here, and I think that's because there's something about Miku that speaks to people. Arguably, Miku's most famous song is Ryo's The World Is Mine, which is relatable to so many people because it's a song about being a huge bitch. But I feel like the song that represents her best is actually Live Tune's Tell Your World. In the song, Hatsune Miku sings about how she wishes to unite the entire world with her music, which doesn't just mirror the sentiment of Vocaloid users, but creative minds the world over. Deep down, I think that anyone who creates hopes that their creations will touch someone in some way. Whether you want to change the world, make an impact, or just entertain, we create for a purpose. And that's what this medium is all about. That song is all about linking people the world over in harmony. And for many, Miku has already done just that. Miku's voice has resonated with people all around the world, resulting in a phenomenon that is confusing, hilarious, occasionally terrifying, and absolutely wonderful. So before I go, allow me to just say that this video isn't just a celebration of the fictional birthday of a fictional character. It's to celebrate the very real impact that character has had on so many people, as well as to celebrate a culture that has turned a simple drawing and voice into something so much more. So to all of the composers who work tirelessly every day to create wonderful music, to all of the fans who have kept what could have been a flash in the pan fad alive for so long, to the company who continues to innovate and fuel this medium, and to Saki Fujita, the intense voice that linked millions the world over in song, thank you.
初めて君の声の音聞いて世界が変わる Happy birthday 小さい頃に夢で見ていたエンジェルにおめでとうおめでとう時には僕が遅くてりても君がいるからミクさんサンキューがあるよ君も好きだなと一つになる気持ち涙のエメラルド